What if I told you a kid from Toronto who was broke, acting on a teen TV show for $50,000 a season, would one day build a business empire worth $250 million, not just from music, not just from touring, but from fashion, alcohol, real estate, gambling, gaming, and one of the most powerful personal brands in the history of entertainment? This isn't just the story of a rapper. This is the story of a CEO who happened to rap. Welcome to Behind the Brands. Today, we're breaking down the full business of Drake. Buckle up. Before we talk millions, we have to talk about the beginning, because most people forget where Drake actually came from. His real name is Aubrey Drake Graham, born in Toronto, Canada. His parents divorced when he was 5. He grew up in a middle-class neighborhood with his mother, who struggled financially. He wasn't living in poverty, but he wasn't comfortable either. To help pay bills, a family friend helped him land a role on the Canadian TV series Degrassi, The Next Generation. He played Jimmy Brooks, a basketball star who gets shot and ends up in a wheelchair. He stayed on that show for 7 years, and for most of that time he was barely making ends meet. But Drake had a plan. While filming Degrassi during the day, he was recording music at night. He self-released mixtapes. He cold-called industry contacts. He built a fan base online before most artists even understood what that meant. And in 2009, everything changed. He dropped So Far Gone, not an album, not a label release, a mixtape, free, distributed online, and it exploded. Within months, Best I Ever Had was a top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. Lil Wayne, arguably the biggest rapper alive at the time, signed him to Young Money Entertainment, and the rest? History. But here's what people miss. Drake didn't just get lucky, he engineered his moment. He understood that in the internet era, you don't need a label to build an audience. You build the audience first, then the labels come to you. That's business 101, and he was doing it at 22 years old. Now let's talk money. Specifically, streams. Because Drake didn't just survive the streaming era, he dominated it. As of today, Drake has over 75 billion streams on Spotify alone. Let that number sink in. 75 billion. He's had the most streamed song in Spotify's history, multiple times. He holds the record for most Billboard Hot 100 chart entries of any artist ever, over 290 entries. He's been in the Spotify top 5 most streamed artists globally for nearly a decade straight. Now the per-stream payout is roughly $0.003 to $0.005 per stream. At 75 billion streams, that's potentially over $225 million from Spotify alone, before you factor in Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, and Amazon. But here's what makes Drake's streaming strategy genius. It's not passive. He feeds the algorithm constantly, features, surprise drops, dance tracks, sad songs, club anthems. He doesn't disappear for 2 years and hope people remember him. He stays in the stream. And streaming platforms reward artists who stay active. The more plays you get, the more the algorithm pushes your music to new listeners, which creates more plays. It's a loop. And Drake understood that loop before most of his competition did. That's not talent, that's strategy. Now let's talk about what really separates Drake from just being a successful musician. OVO, October's very own, named after his birth month, October. What started as a nickname for his crew and a tag on his early mixtapes became one of the most valuable cultural brands in entertainment. Here's what OVO actually is. OVO Sound, a record label launched in 2012 in partnership with Warner Records. Artists like Party Next Door, Majid Jordan, DVSN, and Roy Woods all came out of OVO Sound. This means Drake earns revenue not just from his music, but from every artist under his label. He's on both sides of the deal. OVO Clothing started as limited-run tour merch. Now it's premium streetwear, sold in flagship stores in Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, London, Chicago, and Vancouver. We're talking hoodies that sell for $200, jackets for $500, collaborations with brands like Canada Goose and the Toronto Raptors, and limited drops that sell out in minutes. OVO Fest, an annual music festival in Toronto running since 2010. This event became a pilgrimage for hip-hop fans worldwide. It helped put Toronto on the global music map permanently. Now think about what OVO actually represents. It's not just a brand, it's infrastructure, record label, fashion, events, media. Drake built a self-sustaining ecosystem where every arm feeds the others. A new album promotes OVO clothing, OVO Fest promotes OVO sound artists. OVO sound artists bring new fans to Drake's music. It loops, it compounds, it grows. And the owl logo? 1.